hope you're ready for this.
Gonna be fun.
You will not stand in my way.
Frostborn. Hunger. This pleases me.
I do not fear you, mortal.
Your soul shall be mine.
Don't make me laugh.
Needs a brew? Oh, I do. Feel a shredding, baby. Let the battle begin.
So hello and welcome to the 63rd episode of the Nexus Trolls, a podcast all about Heroes of the Storm, part of the Trolls.gg Entertainment Network. I'm your host, Linus Daz Kilius, and I'm joined today, as always, by Mystic. Mystic, how's it going, bud?
It's going pretty good.
And we've got a special guest on the show today. LiQuiuD.
Come on,
welcome
man.
to the show.
Hasn't been that many.
We decided, well, I decided unilaterally at the beginning of last episode to stop saying that you were a regular host and that you've been downgraded to a regular guest host.
Regular guest host.
But anyways,
Damn.
we're joined as always by LiQuiuD and Mystic. Guys, have you been having a great week?
Yeah. Mecha Storm came out this week.
I know.
How come on?
Cool
dude.
is that video too? I was pretty impressed.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll be talking about that a little bit down the road, but have you guys had a chance to play Tyrael? Because I know people are going to be wanting to hear about Tyrael today too.
Yep. I spent some time on him today.
How about
I
you?
did a lot of extensive testing, different talents and synergies and whatnot.
Awesome, because I haven't had a chance to play him yet. I played a couple games with Tyraels, and he's different than he used to be, that's for sure. So it'll be interesting to see what your guys' take is when we get to that portion of the show. But let's just jump right into it, shall we? Let's thank our patrons before we start, as we always do, over at patreon.com/trollsgg. So if you're a fan of the show and you'd like to support us, you can definitely do so over there. It's very much appreciated. And our troll of the week this week, LiQuiuD, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I can do that. So in my quest for all things Heroes Esports, we picked up a writer in who's going to be covering EU HGC primarily. And I think actually his first article is about to go live this week. So he is the troll of the week, and that is Hoofit.
Yeah, thanks again for being a friend of the show and one of our authors too. So thanks a lot, Hoofit. So let's just jump right into the news. And hopefully my bumper will play. But how about I just do the Chen impersonation instead, because apparently it's not going here. Someday this will make a great story.
That was really good. That was
Hey.
like really good.
I actually, one of my first characters that I really used to love playing was Chen, so I practice that in the mirror every morning. I'll be honest. So there
That's
it is.
mildly disturbing.
I know. Here we go. It's time for the news. Kaldor. What's Kaldor up to tonight, LiQuiuD? Do you know?
Kaldor is going to join Bags and I on Troll and HGC starting at 9:30 tonight. I was going to say immediately after the show. I don't know that it'll be immediately after the show, but it will be after the show at 9:30. And we're super excited to have him on.
Yes, because this show's actually lighter on content. We're just going to be talking about Tyrael's rework. We want to make sure we give LiQuiuD a little bit extra time to prep for that Kaldor interview, because it's obviously a big one. That, and also just there's not as much news and stuff to talk about this week. But also, we've got the Mecha Storm video that we kind of mentioned off the top of the show too, that just got released a couple days ago after some teasers on Twitter. Is this what you guys expected of the teasers, to just be like a video reveal kind of similar to what we had for Kel'Thuzad in terms of like that kind of animated video plus just skins, or were you expecting more?
No, this is what I expected. I don't know about Mystic, but like yeah, no, this was pretty, the video was better than I thought it was going to be, but I did expect like a Kel'Thuzad style video.
What do you think, Mystic? Were you expecting a new hero, new map? I was expecting a new map, surprisingly. I didn't really necessarily want a new map, but I thought that we were going to get like a new, what do they call it, Neo Stormwind or something from those teasers.
I was, I saw the little teasers and I was like, oh, this must be the teasers from the mech skins. And there were some rumors that there could be a new map or something, or they could tease another hero, but I was honestly just expecting the little teasers and the mech skins. So I was actually pleasantly surprised when I saw that there was also a kind of like cinematic animation thing to go with it.
Well, maybe you guys weren't disappointed, but I was a little bit because I was expecting more. I figured, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. There's a lot of build up. I thought they were going to announce something more because obviously they spent a lot of time on this promotion. But that being said, I was very pleasantly surprised by the video as a former, well, I guess just fan of Transformers in general. And I don't know if the whole Gundam thing kind of like passed me by, but like I was a big Transformers fan, and it was like really almost exactly the way I remember Transformers back in the 80s.
And remember, kids, if you want to send all of your hate for that being referred to as Transformers, it's at DazHot.
Okay, you guys can talk about whatever you want to, but that's the nostalgia it brought for me. So
no, it was awesome. Don't get me wrong, it was awesome. Like on every level. There were a bunch of people on Reddit and various Discords that also thought it was going to be like Neo Stormwind or something like that. But I don't know. I wasn't disappointed at all. I enjoyed the video.
Let's get back to the video because old man Daz here wants to know what reference I'm missing here, because I assumed it was an homage to Transformers, but what am I missing here?
It was definitely much closer to the Gundam / like Voltron-esque type thing. It was not
okay,
not
maybe I feel like we're getting off topic, but maybe Transformers the movie, because I feel like the Transformers the movie was more in that style as opposed to like Transformers animated.
I can give you the movie was a little bit like the original like 80s Transformers the movie, right? Yeah. That was a little bit closer, but still not quite right. But yeah, okay. All right.
Well, poor Daz wasn't quite right, but you know what? It hit all the right chords for me. So maybe you guys got different things out of it. And
did you enjoy it?
Exactly, and I did. And I was really impressed more with the amount of resources they probably poured into something like this, just for a skin announcement of all things.
Now, all right. Now I have now it's LiQuid's complaint time. I was watching that video and I was like, so this is a cool video and all, but is this the reason why I still don't have freaking rules for HTC yet? Like, really? Like, this is cool, but where are my freaking rules?
We've got a couple graphic designers that we don't really have anything for them to do at the moment. So it's gonna make them make a cool video because they have nothing to do with HTC rules.
Right? That was frustrating a little bit. But.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can talk about that a little bit too. Like, what was this hold up on the rules, do you think was happening here? The
rules still aren't out. I don't know.
But
HTC starts in 2 days. Here's the funny thing, okay? Here's what I really like. So Trent will tell me, well, normal people don't care about the rules. And I kind of understand that. Random player X probably doesn't care about the HTC rules. I care about the HTC rules. I'm reading the Open Division rules because like we'll talk about later when we get down there, those were released today along with the schedule for Open Division. Animated sprays aren't allowed. There's a huge list of skins that aren't allowed this year. Like, and all of that should be coming out of the HTC rule set. So where are the HTC rule set? There's also people saying, I live in Mexico. I want to play NA Open Division and suffer the ping itself. Rules aren't out yet. So they haven't actually declared where the regions are or where if you can play from a minor region to a major region, even though supposedly that's been worked out. Like, all this stuff is in the rules, but the rules haven't been released yet. I want to see the rules. People who want to make it and make a living here need to see the rules. And maybe the pros have seen the rules. I don't know. I'm not going to go bug players to say, hey, have you guys actually seen the rules yet? I'm just assuming that they're playing and hoping they don't run afoul of any rules. We'll have to see how that goes.
I almost feel like Blizzard must have consulted with the players, and maybe there's some things they're ironing out still. Maybe there's some complaints or something.
Because like the skins were like players had input on what skins shouldn't be allowed and things like that. So yes, they have definitely, like during the summit, a lot of that was discussed.
Out of curiosity, do you know what skins aren't allowed? Like, that seems strange to me that you're not allowed skins, even just a couple.
I do not off the top of my head, but give me like 2 seconds.
I'll let you look into it, because the next item on the news docket too is we've got a new patch. And that's probably the biggest source of news this week. The big thing that came out of the patch, and pretty much the only thing other than a couple bug fixes and the mecha skins, is that Tyrael got a rework. So we're going to be talking about that in depth after LiQuid's Esports Corner. So for the mecha skins, though, we kind of glazed over the mecha video and we didn't talk about the mecha skins themselves.
Oh, awesome.
They are. They're amazing. We've got 3 new skins. Tyrael, Rhaegar, and Abathur all have mecha skins. I don't care what you call them. I'm calling them Transformer skins, even if I'm totally wrong here.
It's fine.
The one
remember, folks, at DazHots on Twitter.
The one complaint I have is that when Rhaegar turns from Rhaegar form into wolf form, there isn't a cool like transformer like transformation that happens. It's just kind of like poofs into it. I was like, oh come on, you did the hearth animation, you couldn't do the animation for him like jumping into the wolf form. But you know what, I'm still cool with it because he got a new skin, and Rhaegar's been dying for new skins for quite some time now.
So I bought all of them
of course
immediately, the pack, right? And first tier league game that I get in after buying it, I'm showing Tyrael because I'm like, this is cool. Tyrael got reworked. I can play Tyrael. I can show off my skin. Everything's great. I'd set the load up for Tyrael before even loading into the Hero League queue. Go in. There's already like, we lost this game because the draft was atrocious, and I had to play support. And Mystic can tell you that that's always a bad situation when I have to play support. But I was like, you know what? I know Karazim's my better support, but this draft is trash anyway, and we don't need another melee, so I'm not playing Karazim, even though Rhaegar, don't. I know. Just anyway, so I played Rhaegar, and the skin's pretty freaking cool. And I love the when you put the lightning shield on, the like thing that's, oh my god, yeah, they did a lot of cool things with those skins. Tyrael's is sick too. Yes. Like I don't play Abathur. I have it. I don't play Abathur, so I'll probably never see that skin ever.
Yeah, well, even if you're playing Abathur, you probably won't ever see that skin, right?
Right.
That's the problem with it.
But it affects all your abilities too, which is like really cool. So.
Yeah, and that being said, I'm a Pajamathur main whenever I play Abathur, so I understand using skins with Abathur.
And Annalise said, she tweeted that, like, why would you, like, making Abathur skins kind of worthless? If you're not playing Pajamathur, you're doing it wrong. So, and I happen to agree. Like, Pajamathur is where it's at. So, yeah.
That may be one of my favorite skins of all time. Mystic, are you going to be getting any of these skins? Are you going to be crafting any?
I would love to craft some of the skins, but I need some more shards first, you know.
I do seem to be at a shard deficit as well. That's a constant problem for me. It seems to take so long to grind up enough shards to get any legendary items. It's pretty frustrating. It's too bad you can't disenchant things like you can in something like Hearthstone.
Yeah, Blizzard has been releasing a good amount of like pretty good announcers, and you know, the Christmas skins were just, you know, not that long ago. So then when these mecha skins come out, you're like, I wish I could get some of them, but I don't have enough shards. So,
right.
Well, LiQuid, it's time for LiQuid's Esports Corner. You ready for it, bud?
I am ready.
Question is am I ready for
right,
it?
Isn't that what I was going to say?
Hey, yo, how you doing?
There it is.
It's time for LiQuid's Esports Corner. That's right. And you're going to want to stick around for this.
Take it away, LiQuid.
All right, so two sponsor news items we're going to cover first, even though they're not in this order in the show notes. That's okay. Calling an audible and saying about 30 minutes ago, Simplicity announced that that Old Gods is now Simplicity. That's GG Simplicity on Twitter. And basically that is I'm totally going to butcher this because I'm going blank on the guy's name. The Memphis NBA team. Invested 7 figures into esports and picked up a Heroes of the Storm team, as well as looking for a couple of other teams. The Grizzlies.
Yep. They used to be Vancouver.
Yes.
Fun
so cool news for the guys over in Old Gods. They'll be playing as Simplicity this weekend. And then Ballistics extended their sponsorship through the 2018 season, so it will not be going back to L5 this year, but will be remaining as Ballistics. So that's pretty cool. A little news item that 6 months ago I was hoping we could make a reality, and even though I may not have been a huge part of it, is now a reality. Heroes Hype is doing Open Division this year. No more Gosu Gamers. It's now Heroes Hype. The Heroes Hype people are awesome. Go check out their website, heroeshype.com/join. They are hiring 2 writers, a video editor, and a bunch of other things. Go check it out. When the announcement went out at noon, I literally was sitting at my computer just staring at a Linux shell session, watching the stats on the server to make sure it didn't die. I was just staring at this thing for like an hour and a half. I had that in one window, and then my other screen was Google Analytics just tracking the real-time hits, so I could gauge where we were. So, but that's great news. Heroes Hype, those guys are awesome. There's going to be some adjustments to the Amateur series and the Heroes Hype Tempo Storm series to accommodate the fact that now they're basically running a tournament 2 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, all day. If you look at the schedule, starting the 29th, which is the first Open Division Cup, EU is in the morning, and then NA is later that day. They're running both tournaments the same day. So that's a long day for a lot of people. They do have separate EU and NA admins, but you still have those people that are kind of in charge of both. So that's 2 long days, Monday, Tuesday, and then so they're going to adjust the other stuff. But since we brought this up earlier, speaking of, I happen to be on their site looking at the NA Open rules because that's where they're posted. And here's a list of prohibited items that I find interesting. All animated sprays, just can't use any of them. So your cheese one's dead. I know you guys love the cheese,
my
but
cheese spray.
Can't use the cheese spray in the Open Division or HGC.
Well, that's it. I'm no longer going to apply to Open Division anymore. I'm pulling out.
You cannot use Arthas's bat form or Kerrigan's bat form for the mount, nor the Invisible Horse. Those 3 are not allowed. And then we have a nice list of skins. So for skins, we have Archangel Diablo, Twilight Archangel Diablo. Wow, I can't say that word. Skyborn Archangel Diablo, and Toxic Archangel Diablo. So the 4 Archangel Diablos are not allowed. This one disappoints me. The Cyberhawk Kael'thas skins are not allowed. I love the Cyberhawk Kael'thas skins, so that's a huge bummer for me. Muradin Muradin, which again, totally love that. That's not allowed. And it's all variants of those skins. And then the Striker Li Ming is not allowed. So those 4 skins in all the various tints are not allowed.
Seems strange to me. I wonder what the issue is here. Is it the fact that there might be confusion between characters of similar skins, or is there just their animations are potentially different?
I believe it is mostly due to the change in the particle effects of some of the spells. Because
yes,
Li Ming, the soccer one, right? She shoots volleyballs, and yeah, sure, you can tell that it's a laser, but it's
but that one was. We saw that one in HGC last year. That one is a newer ban. Muradin was relatively new, so that one wasn't in there. The Archangel Diablo, I remember the pros complaining about in Split 1, and I think that was banned in Split 2. So some of them have been banned before. Yeah. And like Schizo said in chat, on Muradin, his Q comes from a little bit of the side when it's the Marauder. So it makes sense. I'm really, the ones I'm most bummed about, though, are the Cyberhawk Kael'thas, because I love Cyberhawk Kael'thas.
It's just crazy to me the amount of minor details that affect pros that I would never pay a second thought to. I can almost see how particle effects changes aside, how some skins can be kind of confused for others if you're just a quick match situation. You're not really remembering who was on the other team. But obviously that's not an issue with the pro scene. It's something a little bit different. But it's amazing how that can affect their play and something worthy of complaining and banning. But either way, hey, they're pros. They're better at this than I am. That's why they get paid to do that, and I don't get paid to do this.
So I would be remiss if I didn't also point out that in 1 day, in 8 hours, we will have HGC back again.
Oh, hey.
So
you're obviously
hooray!
Really excited.
Dude,
gonna be a lot of long sleepless nights for LiQuiD now. He's just watching all those games.
I can't wait. You know what? It's gonna be weird for me. I haven't figured this out because I committed to Bacon that I was going to grind as grindy as I could be and try to make it to master this season. And I haven't ground as much as ground. I think that's the word I want to use there. I have not done my grinding. Mainly because I've just been busy with other things. So I'm trying to figure out how I can grind and watch HGC because I tried to do that before and I felt like I was missing HGC because I was too busy grinding. So I'm not sure how I'm going to work that out.
It reminds me of when I used to try and watch trolling HGC while playing. Doesn't work very well. I was trying to go in the bots. I was like, I kind of catch it, but I was like, oh crap, it's kind of distracting. I got to turn the volume down.
Yes.
I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but yeah. Anyways, I did watch them after anyways.
I totally get it. I understand. And that's exactly the situation I'm talking about. How am I supposed to watch HGC and grind? Right? Like
first world problems. Yeah, I actually finished my placements yesterday too, and I did pretty well. I went 7-3, and I finished Diamond 3 of all things. Go figure.
Let's not talk about where I ended. I ended so. I did climb one rank though yesterday. I was like, I'm going to move at least a numerical rank today, and I went up a rank. So it was painful, but I did it.
Baby steps.
Yeah, I feel like I took the bad mojo that you and Bags got, and I got the like flip side of it. So I just got, I mean, when I did mine, like I think I finished Plat 4 last season, so I had a pretty big jump. I think most of it was because I went 6-1 to start, and then the last few games won 1, lost 2. But if you win the first, this is something that I think is kind of a problem because I don't think I deserve to be at Diamond 3. If you win your early placement games, they're weighted a lot heavier. Like I noticed at first I was playing with like, you know, Plat 4s and everything. And then after a couple wins, I was already playing with like diamonds. I got up to playing with like even like Diamond 2s, Diamond 1s. And then it just didn't change as much with the last couple losses that I had near the tail end of it.
Do the grind, man. Do the grind.
No,
you can hit master from diamond. Not
now.
So
I just stand pat.
No.
It's like a casino. You gotta know when to like pull your winnings and like
but
leave.
Here's the thing, right? Like it doesn't change your reward. Your reward is always the highest you got.
That's true.
So it doesn't matter. And the other thing I would point out is that like I really, really, really wish performance-based matchmaking was still here. So I know I'm not as mechanically gifted as Mystic. I will never be that I'm past the age where I can be that mechanically gifted. I totally understand that. But I understand the game. And so frequently I'm in games with people that have no idea what they're doing. And look, I am not complaining about where I am rank-wise. I get it. It is what it is. I'm going to grind out of that. But like I feel like if I had performance-based matchmaking, at least then I would be partnered with other people that understood the game because we're all performing our role at a higher level than where our rank is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like, I wish it was here for that reason. Not because I think matchmaking screwed up and put me in a rank that I didn't belong in. Whatever. My rank is my rank. I don't care. Like I'll fix it. But it's so frustrating to play with like, people that think you need 3 solo laners on a 2-lane map. Like, why? Like, that doesn't work.
The really strange thing is, I don't think we've heard anything official come out of Blizzard since they dealt with that whole fiasco and said, okay, we're turning it off until everything gets fixed. I'm not sure if they're still working on it and have a time frame, so they're a little hesitant to mention anything. But I would have expected it to be turned on now. It didn't seem like that was the problem. It was the seating that was the issue.
Interesting.
But obviously, there is some issue here.
So interestingly, that's actually one of the questions for Caldor tonight. Because he was so vocal about performance-based matchmaking and did so many tweet longers and did so many Reddit posts and did all that stuff, a number of people wanted to see him answer the question about, you know, where are we at with performance-based matchmaking?
Cool. Well, I can't wait to hear what he's going to say with it too, because he's probably a little bit more in the know than we are.
Right.
Okay. Well, anyways, Tyrael got a rework, and that's the big topic of discussion, probably amongst everybody. But it's going to be the big topic of discussion with us today. Now, I'm just going to go over some of his base changes. We're going to go over, maybe I'll defer to LiQuiUD and Mystic a little bit for their first impressions before we get into the talent tree. Then we're going to go through the talent tree a little bit in detail here. So a few kind of inconsequential things in terms of actual like gameplay, but some visual updates he got as well with this rework. The first of which, and I'll just get these out of the way early, Tyrael will now face the target of his basic attack when after attacking. This is a visual change and does not directly affect gameplay according to the patch notes. Passive spell armor they used to have has been removed, so he no longer is going to get that 15 spell armor base in his kit. So to offset that, they've changed obviously his talent tree up a little bit too, but he's also received a buff to his base health and health regen by about 7.5%. Seems pretty good to me. They're getting extra 7.5% to help out. Plus
he needed it.
Yeah, plus he can get armor later on in his talent tree as well if you spec into it. Eldruin's Might. His Q ability where he throws at the sword. Mana cost has been reduced. Everyone's been screaming, Tyrael needs mana. Well, here, Tyrael got some mana. 50 to 45 is now the new mana cost for that. Righteousness, same thing. Mana cost was reduced from 60 to 50. And there's a little text change here too. It doesn't actually affect any of the numbers, but the allied shield amount has been changed from a flat value to 40%, quote unquote, the Tyrael only shield value. So it's the same amount of shields, it's just easier to read. Smite can now be cast while moving. So he doesn't have to do that little stutter step to cast it. Everyone I know is screaming, hey, why doesn't Arthas get this on his Q? Because everyone's been saying that since I started playing the game, for God's sakes. And the damage has been increased on Smite by about 4%. So Mystic, maybe we'll go to you first here. Before we get into the talent tree, what is Blizzard looking at here? Because I'm seeing a lot of talents in this talent tree. They're very auto-attacky. I mean, I'm not sure if they're necessarily the good ones, because there are a lot of similar good old ones that we're used to. There's been a lot of shuffles about. What do you think they've been trying to achieve with this rework here?
I think they were trying to like make it so Tyrael is more than just Holy Ground and Sank. Yeah. And I honestly think they've achieved what they're trying to do, because they've fixed his mana problems, like more or less, because you know it's at acceptable levels now. They gave him the more base health and health regen, which I believe they should have taken this route initially instead of just giving him that 15 spell armor that I don't know, people didn't really care about. I don't think it's because 15 spell armor. Okay, but I don't know. That was like a Nubarek thing. It's like, if you wanted to pick Tyrael for the spell armor, why didn't you just like pick a Nubarek?
Right.
Yeah. So they've taken that away, and then they're like, okay, we're actually just giving him health so he can do well versus both. Yeah. And then he has a few talents that he can choose from now that are actually pretty good.
So it seems to me like he's achieved a little bit more talent diversity, and like his mobility in a lot of cases has kind of increased some too. But maybe let's just go through. Well, actually, no, let's talk to LiQuiUD too, because he's our tank main. What are your first impressions before we get into the talent tree here, LiQuiUD?
So I actually agree with Mystic. I feel like they took him away from being just straight up Sank Holy Ground into something better. Completely agree with that. I think they were successful. I think he did need a little bit of mana regen. When I was playing him, I didn't feel like I was out of mana today. I was also playing him as main tanky. I haven't tried Bruiser build yet, but I know it's a thing, and I know he can solo lane now as well, which is kind of cool. Like he's a really strong option for solo laning if you think about it, because if you still go Sank, you can still provide a great team fight element to your team. If you go Holy Ground, which at 13, I'm not sure why you wouldn't go Holy Ground, but you know, to each his own. You have a level of control that you can add in a team fight when you're with your team, or even when you're by yourself.
Yeah, the one big thing I did notice playing with Tyrael is that he seems a lot more squirrely now. There are some talents where he can teleport twice and increase his movement speed, so it's a little like sleight of hand misdirection, it felt like, and he seemed a little bit more tanky than he used to be with whatever talent tier traits that the tiers I was playing with were taking. But anyhow, let's not talk about that because I didn't actually get any playtime this tier. Let's talk to you guys about the talent tree here and your opinions on it. So let's start at level 1. 3 talents were removed from his old kit: Protection and Death, Even in Death, and Regeneration Master. All gone. Purge Evil.
Thank God.
And Purge Evil is moved to level 7, which leaves us with Salvation, Justice for All, and Ardent Restoration. Salvation was moved from level 16 and has new functionality. I don't even know why they bother doing that, because a lot of these cases they just change completely or pretty much completely. But anyway, Salvation increases Righteousness's Tyrael only shield amount by 25%. If the shield is destroyed, Tyrael gets a fairly small heal, 125 health. A new talent here is Justice for All, increases Righteousness's allied shield value to 100% of the Tyrael only shield amount. And then finally, Ardent Restoration. Damaging an enemy hero grants 2.5 health per second to Tyrael for 5 seconds and can stack up to 10 times, because 2.5 health per second for 5 seconds doesn't seem like a lot, but it can stack 10 times, so that can actually get up to 25 health per second. So,
But Justice for All, so amazing, dude.
is that the go-to, LiQuiud? Is that what you're
Oh
thinking?
my God, I had so much fun with that. There may be situations where you want Ardent Restoration. Probably, I don't know. I guess if you're solo laning, that doesn't make as much sense because it's hard to shield your allies. But I love Justice for All.
Yeah, and it looks like just dealing damage to a hero too, so it doesn't have to be auto attacks.
Right.
So that's obviously great too, because you can stack it to 10 times. So if you hit someone, 5 people to smite, right, or 4 people, 5 people with smite, that increases that stacking amount too.
Well, and like Schizo said, I noticed this. I didn't say it. Justice for All, that affects your minions too.
Yep.
So like now your little baby shield that you used to put on them is now like ginormous,
and it's hefty, and I've seen it used well against like Asmos, because a dunk comes in, you quickly pop the shield, and hey, that dunk pretty much does nothing. Right. It also works really well with curses as well too. If you're cursed, you give your whole little wave of shield. And
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, because that's something that, being someone who plays Abathur frequently, if you're on Cursed Hollow, you sometimes want to take that shields nearby minions or nearby allies talent,
right,
because that's a bit of like a counter curse. You can combine that with the heal too to heal up the minions as well.
Right.
But yeah, so there's a lot of like counterplay that new Justice for All talent can bring in here. Mystic, what do you think about these 3 talents?
I think that Justice for All is the most versatile. It's the one that you want to go most of the time. Salvation is very situational. And I don't really see where you could go with Ardent Restoration. I just don't think it's that good, personally.
I think that's comp dependent. I think if you're in a very specific comp where you're going to team fight a lot, that actually works. That could work for you.
See, but even there, like the support value that you get from Justice for All, like to me, looking at these, like Justice for All just seems like a much stronger survivability talent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because
like effective health wise across the entire team, Justice for All is way better. But if you're I'm trying to think, like Bloodlust and Stim Drone and things like that, like you could ramp up your healing pretty quickly. But it'd be a short period, but you know, anything that's gonna up your attack speed makes that a little more effective.
Yeah, and I guess it's tough to say because like Ardent Restoration seems like such a small amount of healing.
Right.
But that being said, you know, you're gonna be damaging heroes nonstop. So if there's any sort of length of a team fight here, you're going to be getting that 25 health per second eventually. You know, once you do damage 10 targets.
Do you have my tinfoil hat by chance?
No, I don't have it ready.
That's a bummer. All right. The next balance patch we get, that number is going to go up.
Yeah, I think so too. Just from what, like, not only us, but a lot of people have been saying about Justice for All, I imagine just that the dial is going to be tuned to make this a more balanced tier. But hey, that being said, you never know. I remember there's some talents that were always like, oh, those are garbage. That's the worst one. Don't pick that one. It ends up being the best one and take on a tier. So I guess only time will tell for some of these. Level 4. Vigorous Strike was removed. Swift Retribution and Heraldric Reforging are both moved to level 7 and 16, respectively. And that leaves us with 3 brand new talents: Stalwart Angel, Bound by Law, and Divine Vigor. Stalwart Angel, Tyrael gains 25 armor while an Eldrain's Might is out, and for 3 seconds after teleporting. So that's a lot.
Awesome.
That's a lot of armor for a long time, too.
So much fun with that. I dove so hard. Oh my god. I think, all right, so back when Mystic and I used to play, I sucked at Tyrael because I always felt squishy. I wouldn't go in, and when I did go in, I'd do bad sanks. It was not good. Today, man, that, like, I felt invincible with that 25 armor. It was insane. I was like, yeah, bring it. Let's go. Throwing my sword out and just diving deep.
That seems like a very good way to give an initiation armor. Like, I feel like who is ETC on, like, when he gets like a little bit of armor on his power slider or whatever, it's not for long enough, but this duration is significant. And then also, like, you can use it to teleport in. You get for 3 seconds after it, even if you don't have Eldraine out. So it seems like a pretty strong bit to me. Anyways, Bound by Law is the next one. Increases Eldraine's Might slow amount from 25 to 35%. And Tyrael's basic attacks increase the duration of the slow by 1 second up to 4 seconds. So you can get this to give total from base plus the bonuses here up to 6.5 second slow on Eldraine's Might. And then Divine Vigor. Damaging an enemy with Smite causes Tyrael's basic attacks to heal them for 50% of their damage for 4 seconds. Now, this is where you can see maybe a bit of an argument for an auto-attacky build. But Mystic, I want to go to you here first. What do you think about these 3?
I think Stalwart Angel is the one that you go if you're taking any damage at all, right? If you go in there and they're not just completely ignoring you, then you'll probably want to take Stalwart Angel. If they are completely ignoring you, then you'll want to take Bound by Law, because then you'll actually be able to slow them down actually for a pretty good amount, because 35% is an okay amount to be slowing someone by. It's not like too little, like 25%, where you're just like, I'm just going to ignore that slow. Where 35%, you're like, okay, I'm starting to actually be a little slower, so I can't actually move as, where I want to be. So Bound by Law is really good. And Divine Vigor, I think, is only good if you're going the auto attack build. It's not so good, in my opinion, like if you don't have the next talent on this level at level 7. Go
ahead.
Here's what I was gonna say. Here's when where it is, right? Ardent Restoration, Divine Vigor, and then the auto attack talent.
So do you think there's a validity to this auto-attacky kind of build? Like, it seems like I didn't see anyone take it, and not a lot of people are saying that that's kind of the way to go. Like, we're already looking at, like, Stalwart Angel and Justice for All, as opposed to, like, the more auto-attacky talents. Is the auto-attack build likely a trap way to go, or is there a valid reason you'd want to take this build?
I think that you'd want to take the build either if you're trying to go like assassinate somebody, or you're playing like very Bruiser-esque. Like, you have another tank with you, and you don't need to like do most of the tanking yourself as Tyrael, in which case you can go the auto attack build and it does okay damage.
Ooh, maybe the new meta will be Tyrael and Arthas auto attack builds.
Hey, Arthas is really good with one of the next talents that's coming up at level 7.
Okay.
Tyrael ETC.
Yeah, well, at least Tyrael can now give auto attack boost to everybody, unlike what ETC no longer can do since he lost that probably about a year ago now.
BS, dude. I'm like so mad. I'm still mad about that. My cow is like, I'm still mad about
If Blizzard touches ETC or Valera, you're going to hear about it from LiQuid. Level 7, Angel's Grace, Zealotry, and Follow Through have all been removed. Purge Evil has been moved from level 1 and has got new functionality. That is that every enemy hero hit by Smite increases Tyrael's basic attack damage by 30% for 4 seconds. And that isn't just 30%, that's 30% per hero. So you can actually get a lot of damage out of this. Combine that with Divine Vigor, you can see where this is going, because you get healing back based on your damage output on your basic attacks. Those two seem to synergize pretty well, but the question is, do they synergize well enough, I guess? Before we move on to the next ones, what do you think of the Divine Vigor Purge Evil combo?
Me?
Sure. Well, I'm just
go
waiting to
for
see
it.
who,
I mean, I already
who's most,
said my thing, right?
who's
I
most
said-
opinionated here.
I said you do the 3 self-heal talents, and then you basically live forever.
Yeah, Divine Vigor, along with the talent that increases the auto attack damage, is actually pretty good for Bruiser-esque, like I was saying. And you can fight the front line for quite a long time, or you can do a lot of damage to their back line because it makes your auto attacks as Tyrael not hit for like a wet noodle anymore. It hits a bit harder so that you can actually dish out some pretty good damage if you're not like dealt with.
I guess my big question and concern with all this is it like going from a wet noodle to a hard noodle? Like, are we really bumping it up?
They can't sit there and stand in it. They have to answer back.
Okay, so it's enough that you can no longer ignore the damage coming at a Tyrael like you typically can then.
And so here's why I know I feel like I'm probably beating a dead horse, but here's why I like Ardent Restoration with both of those. You basically have nonstop healing. Like, you're sitting there and you're doing decent damage to whoever you're attacking, and you're constantly healing. So I know 2.5 health a second, stacking up to 10 times isn't that much, and I know the 50% of your damage also is healing, but like it adds up pretty freaking quick.
And if you're in a solo tank environment, maybe that is the way to go, right? Because instead of shielding your friends and you're up there by yourself, you got to make sure you get the extra healing output to kind of counteract the damage that you might be taking. So,
well, and remember,
like
with Divine Vigor, you have to use Smite, right? And so that if you're good with Smite, you're hitting more than one character or one hero anyway, which means you're not getting just 2.5. Maybe you're getting 7.5. Right?
And and it stacks as long as you keep hitting people and damaging people constantly up to 10 times, so you can get up to 25 heals per second. Okay.
So,
on this challenge here, we've also got Swift Retribution. This has been moved from level 4, and it's got new functionality. Movement speed bonus increased from 10 to 20% for your E. That was 25% base, so it goes up to 45%. No longer increases the duration of Smite's movement speed bonus, and it now also causes Smite's friendly effect to increase attack speed by 25%. This is a pretty interesting one. And then finally, we've got Reciprocate, which we always have in this talent here, where the shield explodes upon expiration.
I actually like that one.
Yeah, well, I felt like that's usually what I took when I did play Tyrael. But what do you guys think of this new Swift Retribution talent?
It's completely
busted.
Yeah.
I think it's completely busted.
Come on, man. It's not completely busted unless you have Greymane on your team.
Okay. You put it down, all right? Now your team, or anybody on your team that walks through it, is now moving at 55% bonus movement speed.
Yeah.
That's faster than Lucio amp it up movement speed buff. Think about that for a second. That's insane.
And the great thing is, if you do it right, you're also, like, post 13, you're also going to cut the rest of the team off. So your whole team is going to be chasing some poor sap down, running like super freaking fast. The rest of their team can't even get through the little choke point, and you just like slaughter that poor person.
Freaking! So, I was playing Blaze, right? And so I put down like this huge, massive like oil slick, right? And the enemy had a Tyrael with Swift Retribution. And he put it down, and their team was running through my oil slick at normal speed.
Yeah.
And I took the talent on Blaze where it increases the slow. They're still just running through it at normal speed. I was like, that talent might be a little busted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little OP.
Well, when everyone's moving at 70% movement speed on the other enemy team, and you're moving at like 145, you're essentially moving twice as fast as everybody else.
Right.
It's almost like a little mini bloodlust without the self heals from the attacks, right?
Right.
Because you get the attack speed and the movement speed bonus. Just a little correction too. It's 45% increased movement speed when you take this talent, not 55. Isn't
it 25% base, and then you add the 20%, and then
which is
45. Yeah, my math was wrong. My bad.
What are you taking in school again, Mystic?
I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah.
For all your accounting needs, you can contact at Mystic Shroud.
Hey.
So is that just it? Like, is Swift Retribution just the busted talent to take here?
Right now it is. I mean, the Reciprocate's still fun though, but right now that's like busted.
And I mean, it seems like the combos with the auto attack characters, especially like your gray mains, are pretty insane here too.
I saw Vala that I had with me today go nuts because she just stayed constantly close to me, took my shields, and was always near my smite, close enough to get the attack speed. Plus, she'd gone full AA, so she had all the bonuses, right? Dude, it was like machine gun Vala. It was crazy how fast it was going.
Or you can even smite like a Taz dingoing Zul'jin or something too.
Right.
Yeah, they don't necessarily have to take the advantage of the move speed bonus.
No, but they can just be sitting there like turreting, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Once I figured out what she was doing, I hooked her up once or twice for the same reason.
Yeah.
Like Reciprocate's fun, and Purge Evil's kind of cool, but like Swift Retribution right now is definitely the way to go.
So let's just back up a bit because we started talking about, at least maybe this is my misjudgment on here, but a lot of people were saying, okay, you might have a little bit more talent diversity now. But looking at this, it's kind of like we're saying, okay, these are the ones that pick most cases. I mean, we had a little bit of a debate on level 1.
No, level 1 and level 7 are even. Like you can pick other ones except Swift Retribution. So here's the problem. Much like one of the other talents, Swift Retribution's just OP right now. Like it's not going to stay that way. They're going to tweak it down.
Yeah, but that by definition, if you have OP talents on
right,
tier,
there's
that,
no
that
talent
kills
diversity.
Talent diversity, right?
Well, I think the idea where they were trying to go with it was good, right? But the problem with things like this, right, is they snuck it in. It wasn't on PTR. There was no anything, right? So all of a sudden, now you have people out there going, what can I play with? And what should I do? And oh my God, look at how OP Swift Retribution is. And now they have numbers to say, right now they have talent pick numbers, so they can come out and they can say, okay, well, we looked at it and it's like 98% pick Swift Retribution. So maybe we should adjust that in some way, and then we'll see the adjustment. And the other interesting thing I promise I will try to take my tinfoil hat off of it after this. The other interesting thing for me, this wasn't released as a rework like normal, right? This was, and that's why you see we moved these from level 1 to here, and we removed these 7 talents, like specifically because of that. They didn't want to do it as a reworked hero. So why they did that, I don't know. But it will be interesting to see what happens on Saturday, because Tyrael was already played a lot, on Friday, a lot in HGC.
And I like how if they're not calling it a rework, but there's only like 3 or 4 talents that are in the same spots as before.
Right? How do you not call that a rework? Jesus.
This is actually a heavier rework than some of the other reworks we've seen in the past.
Right.
So level 10, nothing's changed in their ultimates. Maybe that's it. You have to change an ultimate.
We left the ultimate the way they are.
So we still got Sank and Judgment.
Because Judgment is the best.
Yeah, I mean, there's always been an argument for Judgment or Sank, depending on what you're doing and your skill level with Sanctification too. If you can't Sank well, just please go Judgment. Don't spare us those horrible Sanks that I've sometimes seen in game. Level 13, Burning Range, Angelic Absorption, and Angelic Might have all been removed. And we've got Sword of Justice, moved from level 16 with new functionality. Can teleport with Eldruin's Might twice, returning to Tyrael's original position. So the way this works is you throw out your Eldruin's Might sword, you can teleport to it, and where you teleport from, the sword will now go there. And then you can teleport back to that spot again by re-clicking your Q button. So you can do a kind of like a swap. So you can run in, throw your sword, or you can throw your sword into the fray. You can run back really far, teleport in, and then you can still teleport out back to safety. So it gives you a little bit of that kind of almost like Sylvanas Windrunner feel, where you can use your E twice in and out, or side to side, or whatever you want to end up doing with it. Holy Ground, which we all know, obviously, is very iconic with Tyrael, has been moved to level 13 from level 16, so you get a few levels earlier. The duration was reduced by a second, though, so it only lasts for 3 seconds. And then you got a new talent on this tier, Law and Order. and this one's an interesting one. You gotta read it through a couple times almost to like understand exactly what it means. Reduce the cooldown of Righteousness by 1 second for each enemy hero hit by Smite. And Righteousness increases the damage of your next Smite by 25% for each ally affected. So you want to be rotating back and forth, using those accordingly to boost both those talents. This seems like a very big power spike for Tyrael. Mystic, what do you think?
Yeah, so let's see here. Sword of Justice. I feel like Sword of Justice, while it is a pretty good talent, it's not as good as the other two here. Because Holy Ground, it's Holy Ground, right? It's still pretty good, even with its duration reduced by 1 second. And then Law and Order, it says each ally affected, right? Which includes minions. So if you just walked over, shielded a minion wave, your next smite is going to burst pretty hard. And if you keep doing it in a team fight, then your smite is going to continue bursting pretty hard.
Yeah, what do you think, LiQuiud?
I mean, if you're not taking Holy Ground, I feel like you're doing it wrong. But I tank all the time, so that's a lot of the reason why I see it that way.
Yeah, I feel like in terms of like Bruiser-esque talents, like Law and Order does seem pretty strong. I mean, Holy Ground is hard to ignore because it is such a like a playmaking talent. But like even that, and Sword of Justice too, I feel like even though it's competing against two other talents that are pretty strong, like looking at it in itself, like that adds a lot of extra mobility and sneakiness to his kit as well. You might not take it because the other two talents are so strong, I think, on this tier. But yeah, we've got a lot of good choices here.
Oh, so apparently someone in chat says that it doesn't actually charge it up if you shield minions. So that makes it a little bit worse. That you only have, or you can only do it on allies. But if you're in a team fight, you're still going to be shielding allies most of the time. Yeah. So
well, I feel like it'd be super broken if it was minions. Like you shield 6 or 7 minions.
Yeah, that thing's going to hit really hard.
That thing would hit like a truck, which I was pretty impressed by on its own. But I guess most of your value is going to be in team fights, which aren't necessarily in minion waves. So, thanks for the note there in chat. Level 16, Blood for Blood has been removed. And we've got Burning Halo. Eldruin and Tyrael deal 15 damage per second to nearby enemies. This damage is increased by 100% for Tyrael for 3 seconds after teleporting to Eldruin. So kind of like a burning talent that we've seen with other heroes as well.
So is it together they do 15, or is it each of them do 15? I didn't test that.
Each of them do 15.
Each of them do.
Okay.
So it's like from 2 different points, right? Wherever you throw Eldruin, and then where you happen to be while it's active as well.
Right. Okay.
Heraldic Reforging, this is moved from level 4 and new functionality. Basic attacks reduce the cooldown of Eldruin's might by 1.5 seconds. And then finally, Smite the Wicked. Smite's cooldown recharges 100% faster while Eldruin is out, and for 3 seconds after teleporting to Eldruin. So a lot of interesting talents on this tier. LiQuiud, what do you like to take here?
I like Heraldic Reforging personally. Anything that speeds up my ability to throw out another Eldruins, which at that point means another Holy Ground, I'm happy with.
Or some more Sword of Justice trickery, right? I know I keep talking about it, but I think it's kind of interesting that you get that extra mobility. I know that it's not as strong as the other two, but I just see the fun aspect of it. Not necessarily the OP-ness, but the fun aspect of it.
All right. Yeah, I guess I can see the fun aspect in it, but...
So if you're going the auto attack build, is Holy Ground Heraldic Reforging the way to go? Because you're likely going to be getting a lot of sped up auto attacks, healing off those auto attacks, and you're gonna be able to throw out those Holy Grounds like non-stop too. Like, is that what we should be going here if you're going the auto attacky build?
Well, yes, but I'm not sure the auto attacky build is the way to go. But yes, if you're going to, you should do Holy Ground and Heraldic, in my opinion.
Okay, well, Mystic, what do you think of all this business? Is Heraldic Reforging just the way to go regardless?
Well, Burning Halo does have its place, and Smite the Wicked also does have its place.
Yeah.
I think Heroic Reforging is the way to go. You don't necessarily need the auto attack talent if you select one of the level 20 talents that we have coming up, which just makes Heroic Reforging combined with Holy Ground pretty strong.
Crazy. Yeah.
Okay, well, what about the argument for Smite the Wicked? That's where Smite's cooldown recharges faster, and its synergy with the Swift Retribution that we talked about before, because you'll be able to get more Smites out, more auto attack speed for your whole team, more movement speed for your whole team. Is there an argument to be made there?
Yes, because while Heroic Reforging is really good and its synergy with Holy Ground is quite good, if you don't need as many Holy Grounds and you want to focus more on your like team speed up / auto attack speed increase, you can go for the Smite the Wicked, because you're still going to be doing the Holy Ground and you're still going to be doing all that stuff. But if you go Smite the Wicked, it gives your team more mobility. So if you don't need as many Holy Grounds, you can give your entire team more mobility and more auto attack speed.
Yeah, that one's going to be map and comp dependent. Like a lot. So you definitely have to look at what your team needs at the time before you just pull the trigger on one.
And will either of these give you more mana issues, or is that just not an issue this late in the game?
I'd say this late in the game, you're going to have to be spamming pretty hard to run out of mana, because at level 16, you're going to be throwing out a lot of spells, and it's going to be like maybe 2.5 team fights before you actually run out of mana.
Nice.
And you should be grabbing globes from both sides at that point during that whole time anyway. So,
all right, level 20, Nullification Shield and Nexus Blades have been removed. We've got Angel of Justice increases the cast range of Judgment by 50% and reduces the cooldown by 40 seconds. That hasn't changed. And Holy Arena increases the duration of Sanctification by 1 second, increases the damage of allies by 25%. That hasn't changed. We do have 2 new talents on this tier, though. Defense of the Angels. Activate to reduce all incoming damage by 40% for 5 seconds. So if you combine this with his other talent that gives you 25 armor, you can get 65 armor. Anytime Tyrael or an ally shielded by Righteousness take damage, reduce the cooldown by 3 seconds. 120-second cooldown. And then finally, Seal of Eldruin. It's passive. Every time Tyrael casts a basic ability, increases attack speed by 50% for 3 seconds. And you can talent into this.
So much
So
fun.
that is always active, too, if you're playing your rotations right. What do you guys think of these two? We won't talk about I guess we can talk about level 20 procs to your ultimates here, too. But what do you think of the 2 new ones? LiQuiud, let's start with you, because I know you're excited.
Oh, my God. Seal of Eldruin is so much fun. Dude. If you build right, like, you're basically healing nonstop and just dropping Holy Grounds, like, all around. You're like, you get a Holy Ground, and you get a Holy Ground, and you're just like, all right. So I was in the game earlier today, and I don't remember. I could probably put the build back together if I thought my way back through it, but I know I went Holy Ground, Herodic, and then Seal of Eldruin, and like, basically we got 4 kills. We got a quad kill. And what would happen is every time we'd go in, I would cut the rest of the group off from the team. We'd kill the target that got cut off. Then I would do it again, because in that amount of time, it was back up. My Eldruin's Might was back up, so I'd throw it again, and we'd cut somebody else off, and I'd throw it again, and we'd cut somebody else. And it was like, it was insane. It also helped that the healer was the first person we cut off and killed. So at that point, it was just like picking people off, but dude, it was fun.
I can see why they reduced the cooldown of Holy Ground from 4 to 3 seconds.
Right.
Can you even have 2 Holy Grounds active at once if you time
I
things
was
right
not able to do it.
I believe there was a video on Reddit that I saw that if you did it correctly, you can always have a Holy Ground up. You can't have 2 Holy Grounds.
Okay,
Yes.
which I guess makes sense then why they reduced the duration of Holy Ground, because that'd be kind of nuts if you could get 2 Holy Grounds off for any sort of overlapping amount of time. You could really just like pin down a hero, and like you said too, it's just like, okay, block you here. Oh, it's finally over. Guess what? I'm gonna block you on this side now. Block you on this side, blocking that side.
And that's how it works. It's great. At 4 seconds, definitely would have had 2 down. But at 3, you could pick a target and you were just cutting them off. I did play a game with Defense of the Angels too, which is pretty cool. That worked out really well. It's comp dependent, right? And what your situation is. We were ahead when we hit 20 in that game where we quad killed everybody. We were ahead like 2 or 3 levels, and like they had 1 keep on a 3-lane map. Like we were dominating the game. I didn't need Defense of the Angels. I wasn't like really taking a ton of damage, so it was just okay. Well, let's try this and have fun and see what I can do. I wish I had gone at level 7. Is it that one? Yeah, at level 7, I wish I'd gone Swift Retribution instead of Reciprocate, because I was doing the shield explosion that time just for funsies. No, I'm sorry. I wish I'd gone Purge Evil. I think Purge Evil is the one that gives you what you need there.
So what do you guys think of Tyrael as a whole then? Like now we've looked at his whole tree and been able to talk it over a little bit. We've always taken Tyrael in dive comps and helping enable melee assassins like your gray mains with sanctification. Does he have any additional uses here, or is he just, I feels like he's almost gotten stronger at doing that. He's gotten more mobility. He's giving more bonuses in terms of move speed and attack speed to your melee assassins. Is that just the place for Tyrael, your dive melee assassin enabler?
I think where Tyrael is like right now is you take old Tyrael and then you give him a big upgrade, and this is where new Tyrael sits. He just has the option now to go like more Bruiser-esque if he wants to, but mostly he's the same, just stronger and, you know, more prominent what he does.
Well, the other thing is he can Bruiser now too. I feel like you could try to Bruiser before, but it probably wasn't great. Now it works great.
Yeah, and does that scare you a little bit, LiQuiud, for HGC? I mean, I guess like you said, they might tune some of these numbers down, but Tyrael, whenever he was used in an HGC or pro scene environment, he was used to like pretty good effect for like that enabling kind of team fight situation and having those insane sanks. Like, are you worried that he's going to be that new like OP hero in HGC now? For specific comps?
So, no. Well, like, how do I do
wheels are turning?
No. So the reason I say that is he was already like OP anyway. So
wouldn't that be a concern if you make him more OP though?
No. So like it was how do I say this? It was a uniquely OP.
Yeah, it's very situational.
Right, and now it's less situational. So I look at it this way. Yes. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's try this a little bit different. Yes, he will be more OP now. Yes, he will be, but it's not that he's OP so much that now I feel like he's level with other tanks. So he's not so much comp dependent, where like before, to make Tyrael work well in a professional match, you had to have the right comp for it. You had to be a divey team. You had to do these things, right? Now Tyrael is a little more generalized and can work in a broader number of comps.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because my biggest compliment that I can see with Tyrael in terms of a hero is Greymane specifically. So are we going to be seeing a lot of Tyrael Greymane focus, like those double picks in the draft, like we used to see like Ariel with like a Vala, for instance, back when Ariel was a lot more like commonly picked? Like, are we going to be seeing a lot of like Greymane Tyrael comps?
Yes, you will see a ton of Greymane Tyrael comps because Greymane Tyrael is awesome, right? Like, Sure, why not?
I'm just really scared of it. I want to play some games later where one of you guys is playing Tyrael. I want to get on Greymane because I feel like it's going to make him like an extraordinarily dangerous threat, and to the point where like Tyrael is going to get a lot of bans, or I guess maybe you just ban the Greymane in that case. But I feel like Tyrael can still enable a lot of other auto attackers as well.
Yes, I would agree. It's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what happens, it's going to be interesting. There's like, man, I really, really want to see some scrims in like a week and a half when they're getting ready to be on this patch, because I think the fight over Tyrael is going to be insane. Like bans, first picks, like it's gonna be nuts.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if things get slightly modified over the next couple of weeks, like you mentioned off the top too when we started talking about this, just to like make sure that any of these talents, which may be OP, especially in a competitive scene, might be dialed back a little bit. I'm looking at you. What's that one called that we were talking about before? Oh god, I can't believe I'm blanking on it. Swift Retribution. We're looking at you. I feel like either the movement speed or the attack speed bonuses are going to be reduced a little bit there.
Oh, something will definitely have to change for sure.
Yeah. So before we end off the show, LiQuiud, do you want to pitch the episode for Trolling HGC that's going to be coming up in about an hour's time?
Yes, in about a little less than an hour, we will have Caldor on. Last week we had LiQuiud on. We did actually a significantly longer interview than I thought we were going to do, and spent a little while going over each of the NA teams and how we think they're going to fare. And we'll be doing the same for EU with Caldor today. So that should start right around 9:30. And I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, so definitely stick around. Go make some dinner and come back, I guess, and catch Trolling HGC at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. But thanks, everybody, for listening to the Nexus Trolls, a Heroes of the Storm podcast, which we stream live on this Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TrollsGG, every week on Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, except for next week, because next week we're actually swapping time places with Trolling HGC, so this show will actually be at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're listening to the audio version of the podcast, that's not going to affect you one bit. So, LiQuiud, where can people find you?
All right, so the best place to follow me is on Twitter at LiQuidGG. That's LiQiuDGG. Yes.
And that's the best place to find.
Well, I'm like, I got thrown out like lobbers in chat.
to
Lobbers in chat saying Tyrael sucks, ignore him now. And no, man, look, just because you're the warrior player for leftovers doesn't mean you can convince everybody to like leave him alone so you can get him. That's not how this works, buddy.
Yes, just he's trying to incept everybody, right? Yeah, I'm so used to you like pitching a lot of things on your outro. I was like, you're just gonna do your Twitter? That's like what me and Mystic do, not what LiQuiud does.
You know what? So I'm like, okay, I'm looking forward to HCC being on this weekend. We have so many things going on, which is amazing. You know what? I forgot something. If you were a fan of MasterLeague.net's challenges. MasterLeague.net recently said they're up for sale. We are actually talking to them, and by we, I mean I am actually talking to them to try and work something out for Trolls GG and Master League. Besides that, if you were a fan of their challenge, separately, I'm actually working with a couple of guys I know to build that functionality for us. So in the meantime, because the season starts Friday, and I didn't have time to like totally make this all get worked out ahead of time, we did a Google form for people to go and fill out. So go fill out this form, put your picks in for this weekend so that I can record your points, because when we get the app, we're going to transition all those points from the Google form into the app. And I am working on some prizes at the end. I don't know how many yet. It's like I honestly did not expect Master League to come up for sale a week before HGC.
So where can they find this form?
The form can be found at trolls.gg/challenge.
Ooh, I'm going to have to check it out and just make some random picks, because I know little about HGC compared to you guys.
And we will link it on the front page, but I was scrambling today to get all that ready. it's been a hectic day, man. Heroes hyping now. It's like my day has not gone the way I thought my day would go. But yes. Also, because Lauber's a good dude, he's been on the show. I am gonna give him a shout out on Twitter. For his Twitter. Wow, I can't talk tonight. At Johan Lauber, it's in chat. At JOHANLAUBER. Awesome tank player for leftovers. Go give that guy a follow. He's a good dude.
Cool. And Mystic, where can people find you online?
You can find me at Mystic Shroud on Twitter.
You can find me at DazHots. So thanks again to all our Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/trollsgg. If you like the show and you're looking for a way to support us, you can do so over there. We are working on some new Patreon goals as well, so stay tuned to those. LiQuiD's giving me the thumbs up. He's like, good job.
It's also on my list, man.
It's a very long list. You can also subscribe to our show at iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or wherever you happen to find your podcast online. We're likely there. And if we're not there, let me know because we'll add it to that place. And then finally, you can visit our website, trolls.gg/TheNexusTrolls to watch this and past shows, along with past video streams, which can also be found on our YouTube channel. For announcements about the show in general, here's the Storm News. You can follow us on Twitter at TheNexusTrolls or at TrollsGG. And if you want to hang out with the Trolls community in-game, you can /join TrollsGG in-game or join our Discord channel, trolls.gg/Discord. We're not doing after-show games tonight because of the Caldor episode coming on in about an hour, and we want to encourage everyone to watch that. And finally, if you need to get in touch with us, the best way is by email at TheNexusTrolls@TrollsGG. LiQuiD, do you have anything else on your list of things that you need to say?
If you have Patreon ideas, DM them to me on Twitter at LiQuiDGG. Yeah, dude, send them up. I like, we have a couple. I'm working on revamping that. That's on my list too. We have a couple of show ideas that are probably going to be Patreon goals. Because they're awesome ideas, but time, effort, all that stuff. So.
Yes, Troll GG Empire is quickly growing and turning into quite the time sink as well for our poor friend LiQuiD here as well. Many of the other people who put a lot of hard work into this as well. All right,
why? Yes. Thank you to all of our writers. You know what? I got to say that. We like Daz. I came to Daz a while ago and we created this weird thing, and I've just been like, hey, you know what we should do? We should do this. He's like, whatever you want, man, go for it. So thank you, writers. Thank you, Wonderaid. He's totally helping us with marketing and social stuff. Thank you, Trolls GG family. Like, you guys are amazing, and I'm so happy to work with all of you.
Yep, very much so. It's a great community. Definitely come into the Discord if you want to hang out and become part of the community too. TrollsGG/Discord. No, I mentioned already, but there's a lot of chat there. A lot of good chat about HGC and just here's the Storm News in general. We all chat about it and we talk about quite a few things. But anyways, everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. LiQuiD, Mystic, thanks for helping host. Everybody, have a great week.